Appreciate you guys coming. You know, I feel like today we really, it's not today as much as a culmination of the whole spring practice. We got better. We've gotten better up front. We've come together. Still looking for some depth at positions on the offensive line. Running game is still not what we want it to be. A lot come a long way since that first scrimmage, but it's still not where we want it to be. Just got to continue working on that part from a running game standpoint. I feel like, I feel like that our quarterbacks today did some good things. And again, like I told you guys before, it's really hard at quarterback when you're splitting it as evenly as we split it. One guy to really just step up when he had his first time in the system. So you're going to see a lot of improvement from those guys whenever we get back on the field in August. I think after a summer, I really spent the time to learn the offense and just know it better and get the finer points, the details, and they'll be more comfortable. I think they were a little bit jacked up today. I know we threw a couple balls out of bounds down the field early on, just a little bit excited. Today was fun. It was a good day for those guys to get out there and just relax and play. I'm excited to look at the film, to see, how much good there was. We've been getting the last couple scrimmages. We've been one guy away several times. That's the way it is in offense. Sometimes you get 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy mess up, and it's a 1 yard lost play. And that's what you got to do with offense. You got to get everybody on the same page, everybody playing, seeing the same things, and being able to get all 11 guys going at the same time. But I think, overall, I felt like today was good. First of all, the crowd was awesome. I've been told ever since we got here about how great the fans are, and for our fans to show up that strong on a spring game, it was great. I really appreciate that. But I'm glad we got out of here with very injury-wise. I think we were slim to none, and that's the big thing going out of spring game. You're going to start the summer with everybody healthy and everybody excited. Everybody got to play and be ready to go. Anybody have any questions?
How do you get these guys? You guys don't have the ball. How do you get them better between now and the next time you get them? How can they get better?
Our whole game revolves around not having the ball. It's about just really just harping on fundamentals, footwork, hand placement, body position, and just, all summer long, obviously we got some guys that have some deficiencies from a strength and flexibility standpoint. They got to work on that. But, we just continue to stay out about film study. And, when we do the time we do get to work with them over the summer of being able to work on those kind of things and just really, learning the signals, we got a lot of code words, and we signal in, we got code words. Well, that's a lot of processing, for an offensive lineman. You got to go to the front, you got to know the play, you got to hear the signal, you got to put that back to play. What's your rule? So there's a lot of things there that slows you down a little bit this early in it. But they'll be the same. When we come back in August, everything will be moving a little bit faster for everybody. It'll all be processing faster, and that's today's football. You got to be able to process quickly because they're able to play a little bit faster and get those signals in fast and all that kind of stuff.
Athletically, do you think your guys are capable of making the blocks that you make to run the system you want to run?
Yes, like I said, I feel really good about the first 5 guys. Maybe the 6th guy, but we got to find some depth. And that's what I challenged these guys with today. Is like, you got to show you belong. That second group, the blue team I had out there, they got to show they belong. And I think some of them stepped up today, and that's what I'm really excited about. But we've got some really. I got 2 guys that are really good players with Colton and with Sills. Those guys have a chance to be really good players in this league. And they're the leaders on the offense. On the offensive line, they're the leaders. And they got to continue to pull the rest of the guys along, and we got great chemistry. They all love each other. They work hard. They're gonna push each other, and we're going to get better. We're going to continue to get better.
Basically, what you got is what you're working with. So it's awful hard for you guys to make an impact right away in your position.
Well, I think we got some guys that we signed last year that can come in. I think we're going to have some new faces in the fall that are going to have a chance to get in that rotation. So I'm excited about that.
You mentioned looking at.
Have a whole lot of really any experience in college football.
Yeah. I'd say none.
Yeah, he seems like he throws a little bit more every time we see him. What sort of progress have you seen?
I'll tell you, he's probably the most improved player. And it was kind of one of those things where I came in and he didn't play last year's redshirt, so he didn't get coached a whole lot from that standpoint. And really, for a kid that only played a year, maybe a year and a half of junior college ball, he didn't understand any of the basics. It's like going into a Spanish 3 class and you've never taken Spanish before. He didn't have the basics of, hey, what's a base block? What's a down block? Well, you know, a double team, what's it composed of? You know, lift and drive. There's so many things like that he didn't know. And he's really put the effort of coming in. We met with him twice a day all spring. And he would come in, me or T.O., my GA, we would sit down and meet with him and talk about football whenever he wanted to. And he's really soaked it up. And he's athletically as good as anybody we got. He's big, strong, and he's started to learn. I mean, he's really improved. So I'm excited about what he can do from here.
You went to a pretty good depth at receiver because guys like Field and Johns seem to be making plays as well as the top line.
Yeah, I think our biggest thing at receivers, we've got to just all, you know, we got to block. We got to be able to block a receiver. When you run this offense, you got to be able to throw screens. You got to be able to block. And we got to do that. We got to get where we can do that, and we got to, you know, we got to buy in as far as you know, doing things the right way all the time. Blocking down the field after the play. I think they're making strides. They want to. It's just we got to continue to coach them to do those things and just demand it out of them. But I think athletically and being able to do what we do, I think they can do that. We just got to. You know, we got to get that. We got to have that mentality of outplaying people and outworking people. You know, after the ball's called, you got to find somebody to go block. We got to have that mentality. If we're going to win around here, that's what we got to do.
Is Simmons by far the best guy in that regard?
Yeah, he's definitely ahead. You know, I think he's leading that group. And you know, again, it's just like you get a group and they've been doing things a certain way, and then you change it. And you just got to stay on. It's not that they don't want to. It's just a habit. You got to break that habit. It's just our job as coaches to just stay on them every day and make sure that they play to our standards and they practice to our standards.
Not discounting the other scrimmages that you had in evaluating them, but is today, do you look at it a little bit differently because it was a little bit more of a game atmosphere? Who's playing, you know, when the lights are on a little bit?
Yeah, especially from a standpoint of a quarterback or a receiver, a skill guy, because there's people in the stands. You know, who's going to keep their cool and who's going to do what they're supposed to do when there's people in the stands. You know, from an O-line standpoint, not as much, you know, because it's so, you know, they don't look up there much anyway, you know. And so from a quarterback standpoint especially, you know, you want to see who's going to get big-eyed when they make a mistake, when they throw a big, when they, you know, something like that. Who's going to get big-eyed and who's just going to keep playing. You know, that's kind of what you're looking for on days like today.
Matt, Sink's the guy who probably has to play. He kind of got to go last year and got hurt. Feels good now. I'm just curious if anybody's.
You know, he's had a really good spring. He's had a really good spring. We moved him out to play some slot stuff, and he does a really good job sticking his toe and catching the ball. I think he's going to be a guy that, you know, I had him on the blue team today, and I played with some running back. He had a couple good runs on some gap plays. So he'll run the ball inside hard, but he can also get out on the perimeter and can hit the home run. You know, if you get it blocked up on the perimeter, the safety takes him out of angle, he can definitely hit the home run. But I think I'm looking forward to what he can do. I love his attitude. He works really hard. I'm just looking forward to see how much more he grows over the summer as far as being a player for us.
I think you said before you'd like to do inside zone, right? But you mentioned perimeter. Some other guys mentioned perimeter. Just some receivers have to block.
Yeah.
Well, not just inside the tackle.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff we do with the screens. You know, a lot of times the quarterback has an option on run game to throw the screens out there. You know, for us to be able to do that, to really spread the field and make people have to defend the full width of the field, you got to be able to block out there, and they can't just, you know, they can't just go 2 for 2 over you and be able to. You should be able to get 5 yards when you block one guy and leave a corner or safety free. And again, like I said, I know they want to, and we just got to keep, like I said, we got to get up our standard when that's what they're doing every time.
There's something you said for having seals and pivots on the opposite side, so that you don't have a dominant run side, but maybe you take.
Well, I mean, you look at it now, Mike Brown's pretty good on the left side. He's a really good down blocker on the gap scheme and backside of the inside zone. So really at guard, I feel good either way. And Wickline really came on at the back half of spring. He's really improved his game, his footwork, and his pad level. And, you know, he's a little bit rusty too because he didn't play a whole lot last year. You know, he's kind of a new face. I mean, a new guy as far as being on the field as a starter. So, you know, really, I think that left side with Colton and with Mike, you should get some pretty good push up there.
You got roll tight ends and good, bad, what do they do?
You know, I think really the tight ends that we have, both those guys, they've done a good job this spring. They've done a much better job in the run game, and that's really what what we wanted to see them improve on. So I'm excited about what you can do with them. But again, we got to keep coaching them and make sure they're doing things to our standards as far as being physical and perimeter blocking, being able to get open like a big guy gets open. Not necessarily, it's not as pretty as a smaller guy getting open. Sometimes the big guy gets open just with his body. And we got to continue to work on that. And just, when you catch the ball, run like a big guy. Run north and south. You don't try to run away from people. So those are the things we're trying to continue to harp with them. But I think they've definitely improved over the spring. You got to remember those guys now. There's a lot on their plate now. Coach Trickett, he's coaching tight ends and inside receivers. And those tight ends, they got to know all the protection stuff. They got to know the run game stuff, and they got to know all the throw game stuff. So that position's generally you see more mistakes out of those guys than you do the other guys early on.
Care to comment on Dick's blitzing?
But he don't call it blitzing. Those guys are all they go everywhere. Y'all see they're looping in and out. They're always doing all. He's not a huge blitz guy, but you turn on the film, you got people going everywhere. They never sit still. I love the defense. It helps us prepare for games because my offensive line the first week, their eyes were this big. They're like, man, we're not used to that. You got 3 techniques looping and ends looping and nose crossing face, and it's just the way his defense is built. And like I said, I love it. I've seen it be very successful, and I've seen it make an old line better. It's what it did for us before. So we just continue to continue to work against it. But I really like going against his defense. He does a really good job with it.